This is a presentation of RVT Entertainment.
This isn't about the dead, it's about the living. It's about my mother. It's about my sister. It's about my wife. It's about the 14 years it took me to go from undesirable to ungoddamn deniable.
You know, they say all men are created equal, but you look at me and you look at Small Joe, and you can see that statement is not true.
Because I'm better than you, and you know it.
In the back, there are men and women, seasoned professionals, dues paid in full, gunning to be the best.
I'll always light the way, and all you have to do is let me in.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly. The cream of the crop. Nobody does it better.
Hey, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Wrestle Cast, presented by RVT Entertainment on thebrokeninfinite.com, PowderMag.com, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever else you may find this fine audio recording and live on RVT Entertainment's official Twitch.tv channel, where we talk about professional wrestling, both for the mainstream and the independent scene. My name is Matty Jay. How you doing, everybody? That is TWK.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'm TWK of TWK Reviews, and welcome to another fine edition of the Wrestle Cast, where we got, oh boy, the things we have to discuss this week.
This will be the most packed 90 minutes I think we'll have in a while. This may very wind up being, this could be the short show, but this will be a packed short show. It'll be a very packed short show. Here's what I mean. We got two things to do. We got two pay-per-views, one to review, one to preview. The review is AEW Revolution, which, spoiler alert, that's going to get a thumbs up from us for sure. And we got Elimination Chamber. And none of the clips are related to the pay-per-views themselves. It's one of those weird ones where AEW Revolution happened. It was great. And then, while you hear the clip of the week, I will introduce that part. Of course, we got Elimination Chamber, which has no significant championships. What about the tag teams? What about the SmackDown tag titles? Or the Raw tag titles? No significant championships. Or I say, well, the Intercontinental title, but I'll consider it significant when they change the fucking design back to the good shit. Shots fired, if you will. But that's another story for another day. We have two things, plus the news, plus the emails, plus the comments, plus winners and losers, plus you folks in the chat room. It may not show up on screen here, but I know you're there. All 4 or 5 of you. Hello. Hopefully there will be more. We're on that road to WrestleManias, so that's going to be a thing to talk about. That and Randy Orton was like, Randy Orton, you know what, we'll talk about Randy Orton in the third seg. Definitely in the news part of the program. That being said, I'm just going to say, let's just get to it. And clip of the week, usually on a pay-per-view review, I try to find a clip from the pay-per-view itself. And there were plenty of good examples of what to use, especially in the main event. And Revolution happened, it was great. And then Jake the Snake happened. Take a listen.
I hate to spoil the party, but damn, man, I got tired of listening to you crying, bitch. I never cried over one match in my career. And you're gonna let that little punk son of a bitch get you down to crying? He whipped you like a dog. Don't you understand you got your ass kicked? He handed it right to you. But that's not why I'm here. Oh, I know. Hail, mighty Caesar. I'm not here to praise you. I'm here to slay you. The only reason I'm here is I have a client. The dark side will be coming to AEW. And once our roots have taken hold, it'll be like this, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, soaring to the sun. It's been 20 years for me, Cody. 20 years to get clean, to get right. And by God, I earned it. And if you think for 1 minute that I'm going to be a nice boy and play right, my man, you got another thing coming. You see, for years, I used to put a snake in a bag just to make somebody think about it. And once you thought about that snake, I had you in the palm of my hand, and I wind up spanking your ass. That's what happens. I will be on the outside of the ring when my client faces you. And you can bring that one-trick pony Art Anderson with you. My God. Hey. Caesar. Oh, Caesar. What a snake wants, a snake takes. You see, I'm not in AEW to take the whole pie. Just your share. Now, a wise man once told me, never, ever turn your back on somebody you respect or you're afraid of.
Now, for context, for those of you who have not watched AEW Dynamite 1 Shame 2, he was talking to Cody post-match on Wednesday. And Jay Coggins in the chat, he mentioned, gotta be honest, I went listening to Jake deliver that promo because of the rasp. Yeah, 20 years of hard drugs and alcohol abuse and just straight up bad living will have you looking road hard and wet in a pack of Marlboros, but still one of the best promos in the wrestling business.
I think the gruffness of his voice makes it sound even more menacing, honestly.
I think it adds to it. Yes, the rasp makes you cringe, but it's obvious the intention, even in the intention in the promos. Hey, I appreciate the respect, but I ain't here to play nice. I'm a heel. And if the rasp helps, the rasp will help.
But forget that, we have a whole pay-per-view to discuss.
So Jake the Snake, our thoughts on Jake the Snake and his potential client comes later. Before we do, we got to go back to Chicago, Illinois for AEW Revolution at the Wintrust Arena in Chicago. Where do we begin? Well, how about we begin with the buy-in. They had a dark match, a AEW dark match for Wednesday. It was Dr. Britt Baker, D&D, and Penelope Ford taking on Riho and Yuki Sakazaki. They won with Britt Baker with that lockjaw, which is a nice submission, I think. A 10. In the buy-in itself, it was the Dark Order, Evil Uno, Steve and Stu Grayson taking on the SoCal Uncensored, Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky. 9:25. No appearance from the Exalted One, and I could sense the disappointment in the air when when someone showed up in a robe. It turns out it was just fool you, or Chris Daniels just showing up, CD and Colt Cabana.
Don't forget, Yeah, Cole Cabana made his debut, and he is signed full-time to AEW.
See his sign. He's not with, I believe he still has some, if he has some extra stuff with the NWA, I think that's finishing up. But after that,
He has not been on Power in weeks.
If at all. Which is
Like,
weird.
the last time he was on Power, he was getting attacked by Ken Anderson, who, by the way, also hasn't been on.
Injury angle to write him off TV. Fair enough. That's right.
Also, Ken Anderson, I can't recall last time he was on Power.
Strange times.
That could only mean that the Exalted One is Mr. Anderson.
Dude, Ken Anderson's one of my boys. We gotta do it right. Mr. Kennedy! It has been a hot
Can't use
minute
Kennedy. Copyright it.
Copyright. I don't give a shit. I'm a mark, damn it. When is he gonna sue me for the $100 left back in my bank account? Ooh.
And all your championship replicas.
I got solid work. I'll get those fuckers back. Besides, you know what? Good luck getting the world the big gold. It's funny. Funny aside. My work is with the Immigration and Refugees Canada and Citizenship Canada. Now, while I will not allowed to say the specifics of it, I get a cubicle. It's a nice size with shelves and everything, and I was told I could decorate. So I brought a couple of things, got a few of my hats. So if I don't feel like wearing one hat, I could go home with another. I got my Legacy Power Morpher. That rose a few eyebrows, but I'm like, yeah. But I told my fellow workers, guess what? Spoiler alert: huge geek. You'll get that. And Big Gold is up there.
The big gold or the 10 pounds of gold?
Big Gold. The
Okay.
commemorative, the first belt I ever got. The Big Gold, the world title.
Nice. Good choice.
And it was easy to carry because it's acrylic plastic, so it made the choice a little easier. Plus, everyone appreciates Big Gold. Everyone appreciates Big Gold. Anyway. My point being,
get back on top.
Get my up list. Good luck. It's behind a security thing, and they will arrest you if you cross that line. Good.
Nevertheless, Dark Order versus SU was fine enough.
It was fine enough.
And,
a good warm up to get the crowd going and get a good pop. And I could sense a lot of people were disappointed. Well, what about Matt Hardy? It's obvious that his contract ended the day after. Whoops.
We'll be talking about all that and more in the third segment. Of course, pay-per-view opened with Jake Hager defeating Dustin Rhodes in an okay match.
Jake Hager, Dustin Rhodes by submission. And do you think they probably should have opened with match number 4 on Wikipedia, but the second match on the main card?
I think that probably would have gotten the crowd warmed up a bit more because this match was just okay. It was a really good WWE match.
This was WWE style, as in you got to put over Jake Hager, and you use a guy who could hang with Jake Hager and Dustin Rhodes. Makes sense, but the standing guillotine, whatever he uses as a finisher, as Jake Hager, I do agree with some of the reviews. Not as flashy, especially for someone who has the ability to for a big powerful finish like Jake Hager does. And Renico, we'll get to that in the third segment. Moving on. He's talking about the standing triangle is what it is. Okay. I thought he was talking about Death Triangle. I'm tired, folks, if you can't know. But no, I don't like I agree. The standing triangle, not exactly the best spot to finish on, I don't think.
But Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara definitely woke the crowd up.
Oh!
Especially with Darby.
Oh, that opening spot. Good Lord. Like, officially it's 5 minutes, but they brawled for another 2 to 3 before they rang the bell.
I think they brawled for at least a good 5 minutes. So it's
Yeah.
5 minutes outside the ring, 5 minutes in the ring, and there's your match. But of course, one of the big things people are talking about is the double dives to the outside by Darby Allin. One was hit clean. And the second one, he tripped up on the ropes and almost his head on the
Yeah, almost killed himself, but I think we'd be remiss because, yeah, Darby Allin's great, but Sammy Guevara brought the flips too.
Now this is how you do a 630 splash and make it look flashy. And unlike Ricochet, he doesn't have to worry about being jobbed out the next night like a bitch.
I mean, he's in the inner circle. It's kind of hard to be jobbed out like a bitch when you have Chris Jericho. Conspiracy victim Chris Jericho. That's a throwback. Again, third seg. But that was a fun ass match to watch. Not gonna lie. Speaking of, okay, folks, sit down. We might be here a while. Kenny Omega, Adam Page over to Young Bucks. They retain the AEW World Tag Team Championship. 35:05 official time.
30:05.
30:05. 30 minutes, 5 seconds.
Just like a few seconds after Justin Roberts announced that they went over the 30 minutes and 30 minutes were remaining, all of a sudden buckshot lariat, 1, 2, 3.
All right, 30 minutes. Okay, cool. 1, 2, 3. We were going home. We're not going to do this justice. A lot of people are calling this the best tag team match ever put together. I am one of those people who will stand back and say, let's give it time. Because was it an awesome match? Absolutely. And I feel bad for Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara because had the tag team title match not happened, Allin Guevara match of the night easily for me.
For me, if it not for this, it would have been match number 8 on this little order.
That's another good one. I think the order would be from 3 to 1 would be Allin Guevara, match number 8 on the wiki, and Kenny and the tag title match.
Yeah, this tag title match, just the raw emotion of it really carried it, as well as the amazing athleticism.
The buildup of it was enough, but there's so much backstory. We're talking, 2015, 2016 minimum? Like, this is early Bullet Club, Adam Cole and Adam Page getting in. This is 4 years minimum of backstory with this. Coming to a head with Kenny, okay, this is business. We have to wrestle. We have to defend against the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks want the tag title, so this is strictly business. Adam Page essentially is going, fuck you, I'm fuck the Elite. But he can't get away from the Elite. And that's just scraping. There are so many things to talk. I don't know if it's fair to say it's the best match of all time. I don't know if it's fair.
It's easily one of the best matches that we're going to see for a very long time. It is.
I will say this. One, I could agree with that. Two, I don't know about all time, but I'll tell you this: it's number 1 on match of the year so far.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
I will. And people say, well, aren't you dense? I'm not dense. That's match of the year right there.
And
until they somehow find a way to make a match that is as good, as emotionally packed, and as action packed as what we just saw on Saturday, match of the year easily.
And to everyone coming at Dave Meltzer for giving this 6 stars, did you not see the match? Did you not see it?
Yeah, this is one of those. Did you watch it live?
That is very important.
Did you hear that hot fucking crowd get molten hot, white hot at the end of that match and so spent that, well, then again, they got the crowd back by the end of the night, but they didn't have to work hard for that. But still.
Also, should we know that from the beginning up until the end, like the Young Bucks were the default heels according to the crowd.
Yeah, the crowd did
were
not
here.
like the Bucks, which is rare for the Young Bucks. They rarely worked heel. Well, in the last few years, it's rare that they work legit heel.
Yeah, at least here in the States. Like in Japan, they would work heel easily. But
Oh yeah,
here in the
because
States,
that's
ever
easy. All
since
they have to
joined
do
Bullet
is be
Club,
the Young Bucks and boo, instant heat. But here, they're faces.
yeah,
So,
here like they're basically basically gods according to the crowd. But like Adam
Here-
Cole's popularity has
here-
reached such a
Here
height
it's
that
Adam, give me a beer page. Cowboy shit is more over than the Young Bucks, believe it or not.
and of course we have to talk about it. The moment that I was so glad got heat with the crowd, they recognized it. Golden Trigger.
To Kenny, these guys, I don't know if they sensed they had this idea in there, or if they sensed the crowd and say, hey, let's throw an audible in there. What do you think, Golden Trigger? And Kenny went, do it. I don't know if it was planned or it's like it's on the spot because of the crowd, but genius is what it is.
Yeah, I was so glad the crowd reacted to it as well. There's just so many great spots. We could just name them all, but it won't do the justice. Go watch this match. Go watch this match. Go watch this match.
Absolutely. And if you don't agree with one of the best tag team, and that's fair, I'm not going to jump on that bad, Mike. But right now, that's the watermark. That's the match to beat for match of the year. Prove me. Give me a better match than that.
And if anyone's wondering, hey, where's Big Match Kenny? Where's he been? Last Wednesday, this Saturday, you got Big Match Kenny 2 nights in a row.
You got 2 nights in a row. That guy must be tired.
Yeah, to the point where he's apparently needed to take some time off.
Can you blame him? Is what I could say. Where's Big Match Kenny? Oh, he showed up. He was restoring enough energy to blow up the goddamn wrestling world again. You gotta charge up. It's like a dragon slave. It takes time to charge up and blow up an entire village. You know what I mean?
Yeah, one thing you got to know is that even when he was in New Japan, one thing to know is even when he was in New Japan, you'd only see those big matches once every couple of months. Just like in here. Like, the only difference is like now he's having to wrestle more often on weekly television. So, and you can't always get those 5-star matches every week.
I think the benefit here, though, is they only have to wrestle once a week instead of like 4 times a week. Oh, of course, on a tour, you'd have to wrestle every couple of days, so there's that, but still. Yeah. And then, of course, at that point, I feel this feels kind of like a takeover in a sense. Like, hot crowd here to watch professional wrestling. And I'm like, oh no, I went like, this is like comparing it back to the Wednesday Night War. And then Nyla Rose versus Chris Statlander happened for the AEW World title after a match of the year candidate. And the first thought comes to mind, this is an NXT takeover. Because once again, the women have to follow greatness. And I'm like, why?
Yeah, they were fighting an uphill battle.
They
were fighting an absolute uphill battle. Like anything that follows that match.
Because I get the feeling that they knew like this match was not going to be well received, so they stuck it to a point where they could get the crowd back, whatever. But look, they went 12:45. It was a great match. Both matched up very well, as a matter of fact.
I think it was just okay. I feel like it was kind of hurt by the fact that Statlander was coming off of a flu.
Yeah, she was sick. The
like
alien was sick, sadly.
Yeah, and props to her for fighting through it and still doing this match,
and for all intents and purposes, this match could have been under the flu and everything else. This could have gone a whole lot worse.
And there were a couple of nice spots, like the clothesline spot from Nyla.
Yeah.
Or the spear spot, excuse me, the spear spot from the outside to the inside. We also saw a really nice powerbomb off the top for the finish. Also, earlier on, she was going to hit her guillotine knee, but Statlander ended up maneuvering out of the way by a handstand, which was really
is
nice.
not only a clever way to get out of the way of a move, but it keeps up with the alien gimmick. Or the quirky alien gimmick, if you want to go that way.
Overall, I thought this match was okay, but I feel like it could have been better. Unfortunately,
It was hurt by the fact that they had to follow the tag team title match, which was match of the night in hindsight. Like, this is, like, you know, I don't want to compare this to NXT because it's obviously not NXT, but for a second, I'm like, Jesus, this is NXT. This is a takeover because the women have to follow great match after great match after great fucking match, and they got to be in there holding their dicks. Or they're non-existent dicks.
Metaphorically
Bad
speaking.
joke. Yeah, you know what I mean is what I'm trying to say. They have to be out there going, wrestling! And it's like...
And now you just made Nick Aldis's shit list.
Wait, what?
Nick Aldis hates it when people shout wrestling.
Fucking what?
Yeah. Did you know on the latest Straight to Hell he was on there, and one of the things he sent straight to hell was people yelling, "Wrestling!"
Look, I'm not trying to... You know, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I just remember that. Yeah, but, like... You tell me a better way to describe how this feels for those two poor ladies.
Indeed. Hopefully the next pay-per-view match will be much improved, and they won't have to deal with this, and they can get put into a better spot.
And by the way, when I do wrestling, it's not a way to insult the fucking thing. I'm a wrestling fan in the first place. I'm just trying to I'm trying to describe this like in a way that properly tells the desperation of trying to follow solid match after solid match and trying to top it, especially when half of the damn match is sick.
Well, she wasn't sick at the time. I think she was just coming off of it.
Still, have you recovered from a cold? It takes time.
Oh, yes. I know this well.
You get rid of that cold, and you're still tired for 2 fucking days. Minimum.
I believe it wasn't a cold, it was a flu.
It was a flu. Flu, cold, same diff.
I think
you're stuck in bed, you're trying to sleep as much as possible and drink all of the liquid.
Anyways, following that was Cody being accompanied and luring by Arn Anderson, Brandy Rhodes, and Downstate to go on MJF with Wardlow.
Before we get to the actual match, can we just press F for Downstate because goddamn, that was not good. Like, that was awesome that they did the song, but rehearsal would have been nice, guys.
I've heard worse performances.
Yeah, Motorhead comes to mind, true, but...
What are the lyrics? I don't even know. Let's get paid and get on with the show.
This is where if I had the foresight of knowing this, I would have cut right to the V1 doing that for the episode for X7. It's all about the game, and I play it. It's all about the game, about to play it. At least the music was fine, and that's okay. And I have to think back to MJF talking about his victory. I mean, obviously MJF over Cody Rhodes 24-40. This was a great match with a classic MJF, a classic heel finish. May not be clean, but I think eventually the right guy won because the goal here was to create a star or at least solidify a star, and the job done there, obviously.
100%. And I gotta say that I honestly did not even see him pull the ring out when I was first watching this match.
No.
That caught me by surprise.
It caught everyone by surprise. I'm like, wait, didn't he give that ring to... Oh, probably it's like a little bit of sneaky. Good call. Because it's like I said on Twitter, this is the perfect kind of thing. It stings, it sucks because you want that catharsis, but think about it. Cody gets a measure of revenge. He rips Cody, but he gets to whip the shit out of MJF. MJF gets over as a mega heel by the win, just by getting his ass kicked and then eking the win because sneaky heel.
Also, I love the fact that when Cody went to whip MJF, the ref initially stopped him, but Cody's like, come on, give me one. And the ref was like, fine, go ahead. And he just turned his back because not even the referee likes MJF.
Not only the ref hates MJF, also the ref is smart and remembers, hey, this guy went through 10 fucking lashes to the back to get this match. I think a receipt is in order.
Just so many small moments, and just shows that Cody understands how to put together a wrestling match really well. And whoever produced this match also did an excellent job.
Absolutely. This was well produced, well fought up. I wanted Cody to win, but in hindsight, the right guy won because now, yes, he got comeuppance, but he still got away with it, and he gets to shove it in our faces because he pinned Cody. Oh, that shirt! I'm sorry. This is a gaudy and over thing, just like a neck tattoo. Ooh. Ouch. And let's be honest, MJF versus Moxley down the line, the thumb is up. Not a bad idea. Next up, oh boy. Folks, this is where T-Dub and I not only get to praise the world's most dangerous man, freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy, but get to tell you why we like Orange Cassidy fucking period. Pac versus Cassidy. Pac over Cassidy in 13 minutes. The tag title match was match of the night, but if you ask the crowd, this was match of the century.
Orange Cassidy was over like Steve Austin in 98.
Name a hotter crowd, folks. Because T-Dub's not wrong.
I could not believe how loud the reactions to Orange Cassidy was getting. That is a world title crowd.
Yeah. Hot, molten
that's world
hot,
championship.
lava hot. For a guy whose character does not give a shit. Now, for those who don't watch indie wrestling, one, shame. Two, this is where the magic of Orange Cassidy is. Because Orange, before the gimmick, was your run-of-the-mill wrestler. Wrestled very good. Actually, one of the best wrestlers in the indie scene. And that was before Orange Cassidy. Could fly, could wrestle, very technically sound. A good wrestler,
actually,
but very generic,
I also have to remember his time as Fire Ant in Chikara because before I knew he was Orange Cassidy, I saw him wrestle one of my favorite matches as Fire Ant against, who was it? Vin Gerard, I believe it was, for the Chikara Young Lions Cup.
Yeah. I remember seeing that match. It's floated around the internet for a while.
It's on YouTube for free. And
it's on
even
YouTube
back
for
then,
free.
That was one of the best matches I had ever seen.
Yeah, Fire Ant, Orange Cassidy. The point is, outside of the mask, he was over. He was fine. He was popular, but he was not. He was missing that thing. And then he decided to just not give a fuck and wear sneakers and jeans with holes in them, and not give a shit and act like wrestling is like the furthest thing he wants to do. And then the crowd bought it. And slowly and little by little, it got to T-Dub and it got to Shin Tiger Curl, who, by the way, is not here. We were supposed to have him here today. He invited himself. He asked to be on Tuesday, but he had to bow out because of he was still recovering from he's still under the weather. He's still recovering from that procedure he had to go through. He is fine. He's sure to say he's fine. Just getting the medications has him more droozy than he'd like for this show. We do send him a hello. But the beauty of Orange Cassidy isn't, it breaks the internet and blows up the minds of everyone in the goddamn wrestling world who are traditionalists, quote unquote. But that's the beauty of it. Yeah, he's lackadaisical. He looks lazy. But in context of wrestling, it's luring you into a false sense of security. When he tries, oh shit. That's when the pop happens. And that match is a perfect example of why Orange Cassidy's gimmick worked and has worked for as well as it has. That's the perfect example.
And I still can't believe this also blows a huge hole in a huge thing that people used to say all the time about NXT, where they would say, oh, this kind of gimmick only works in small crowds. This would never work in a mainstream crowd. You'd have to tweak it. You'd have to change it so it's more palatable to the mainstream audience. You
could argue that Chicago is a wrestling crowd. It probably wouldn't work in Kansas City or like a smaller market.
Except we've seen that it does on AEW Dynamite every time they go to these small cities.
It worked on Wednesday night. It worked on Wednesday night, and of course, granted, it's off the performance, but before that, crowds, Kansas City, which is not traditionally a wrestling town per se, Orange Cassidy is over. He is a big deal. He is a popular act. So when I read people saying this match is not good, like V1, he doesn't like the gimmick, and I don't blame him. It's not for everybody. But to hear a crowd sold out like that over a match that is literally which would traditionally be a dead slot between one match and the main event, get that over. That's the definition of a semi-main.
And as I say on Twitter, I'll say it again, if Orange Cassidy can maintain this momentum for the next 2 years, I see no reason whatsoever not to make him world champion.
If it's a case of it's literally the devil is in the details, obviously. Who knows how long the gimmick can stay relevant and fresh for that long in those 2 years? Maybe a tweak, maybe an order. Maybe Orange himself says, "Hey, this worked, and I have to tweak it." Who knows? But if he can maintain that momentum, like right now, he is in the upper mid card, and people say he's a lower card act. Not after that. Not after Chicago, and not after Denver, or not after. I forgot the name of the city.
That's fine. I never pay attention to where shows are at when it comes to the weekly side.
They were in Colorado, but they brought it up, and that was cool, but I forgot the name of the city. And I do apologize to the people, to anyone in that city who's listening to this. That is not the intention. But, again, the point is, he was over, and he is an overact. And Jake Hawkins' AEW structure is uniquely suited to Cassidy's gimmick, since he can theoretically get a title match without actively pursuing it himself. Because they do keep an eye on wins and losses. They want the matches, they want the world titles to make sense, like two guys who've earned that top slot. Now, if Orange keeps staying undefeated throughout the year, you can make that work.
Yeah, if he somehow goes on like a 5-match winning streak out of nowhere, and all of a sudden it's like, this week he's number one, I guess, because he's the only one who's gone this long winning streak, and he's beaten these people. then the world champ, then here's what I would love. He's the perfect person to have like a cocky, arrogant heel champion. Be like, okay, I'll wrestle this Orange Cassidy guy. We're going to have a good match, and I'm going to just beat you easily. They have a match. He underestimates Orange Cassidy. They go for a good 15 minutes. Then out of nowhere, roll up. 1, 2, 3. Crowd.
You could literally pull off Razor Ramon versus the 1-2-3 Kid with Orange Cassidy. And it would be just as over.
It would also be crossed a little bit over with Mick Foley because he could be a Mick Foley style champion where he doesn't need the title for that long, but just for having it for a period.
The catharsis of him winning the championship and actually accomplishing that. Huge pop.
I know the perfect person who I think that whoever is the Exalted One eventually becomes world champion. And they underestimate Orange Cassidy, and he gets the belt.
See, that's the question in my mind now. I'm like, okay, world champion, but a lot of people say he doesn't deserve to be world champion. But the question comes up, do you want a mid-card title? Like an Intercontinental Championship title type of situation?
I do think that they're going to have a mid-card title soon. I'll say by the end of summer, at least.
Like, because here's how I see it. Orange Cassidy, if he maintains that momentum and the level of popularity that he has, I don't see why not he could be a perfect mid-card champion. If like we'll call it the AEW World Title pending an actual title. Say it's a TV title, right? I don't see why not why he shouldn't be the world television champion in that case.
He could be. I think he would be a great inaugural champion.
Like I said, because it will give the crowd, it will give Orange Cassidy a reward for all the hard work and the popularity. It gives fans a catharsis, and it keeps the purists and the assholes who don't want to air Orange Cassidy with the world title belt at bay, because it's not a world championship, but it is a championship win, and it's a major championship win. It is, but it is only a thought. Let's put it that way. Though, can you imagine MJF versus Orange Cassidy for the world title, though? Ooh. Jake Hoggins, that's not a bad idea. I mean, it's far-fetched right now, but down the line?
Oh, yeah. And actually, MJF would be the perfect person to lose Orange Cassidy because he would be the person that would underestimate him and be too cocky. And what would be great is he would go and hit him with a ring, but then Orange Cassidy would just slowly walk down. He'd be like, what? And then all of a sudden roll up 1, 2, 3.
World or mid-card title pop of the year, if that would happen. Again, it's a theory, wrestling fan theory, but
that's just a theory. A wrestling theory. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, a little food for thought. That's all it is at this point. Main event time. Jon Moxley, Chris Jericho for the AEW Heavyweight Championship of the World. And Mox did it. 22-20. And he can see. He can see. He sees the light. And it burned Chris Jericho.
Yeah, I love that ending where all of a sudden it turns out, oh, his eye actually recovered.
I get the feeling it's one of those, hey, I can still see, but the eye patch is there. Hey, let's fuck with it. I'm going to fuck with Jericho a little bit. Mad games.
And they're done to perfection here. Mm-hmm. And but one of my favorite moments is Aubrey ejecting the inner circle with Proud and Powerful taking a bump on the apron after she threw them out. That was great.
Overselling and a rejection. Classic right there. Classic wrestling.
And of course, it got a great reaction out of the crowd. And just these two did a fantastic job of working the crowd. Mm-hmm. And I absolutely love the ending with removing the eye patch and hitting the paradigm shift, an elevated one for the victory. And, of course, the victory speech.
Absolutely. Hey, I'm in a home. Hey, what the fuck?
I think that's
wasn't
Tony
done
Khan.
yet.
I think that's Tony Khan telling you, "Go home, go home. You only have so much airtime."
All right. So I'm going to defend my title, but right now it's time to drink some whiskey. All right, but it sounds like it's
For Moxley, it was beer o'clock.
or for Moxley, it was beer o'clock, mother. Get in there, get the Millers in there. I had to. We'll get to him in the third. Don't worry, folks. We know. We know. What do you say? What do you say, T-Dub? What is thy rating for this?
Overall, I'd say this match, the show, it started off a bit slow, but ended hot, so I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5.
That's where I'm sitting. 4.5. Not the best show of. I don't know if it'll be show of the year by the end of the year, pay-per-view year, I should say, but it definitely has a couple of match of the year candidates with the actual match of the year in there. I mean, hot crowd, great matches, and continuation for right call, mostly decent booking. The thumb is up on that one. And Devin the Great, 6.5 stars, 4.5, 4 out of 5 for Renico. Yep. Makes sense to me. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your emails and comments of the week. You can send them to the WrestleCast@gmail.com. And Hairball, if you're listening, you can join the chat if you want. Just saying. For those wondering, he messaged me on Discord asking if he could DM the Discord. Rule is, it's the email only. So, sorry. That being said, we begin and have our email from you know who it is.
French Otaku. Rush.
Nice. If things can't get worse, he starts with, hello, WrestleCasters, and I'm not in the best mood. Put it simple. Fuck COVID-19. That's the coronavirus, by the way. That's the actual name of it. I'm self-aware that it's just a mild version of the flu, despite being lethal to anyone who's an elder and have weak health defense. But for people who react it like it's Armageddon dust, most events on my country are pretty much canceled until spring. Worst case scenario, in the end of May. But I digress. Time up with the good news. AEW Revolution. Love the pay-per-view with the only downside, nothing against them, the women's title match between Statlander and Nyla Rose. It was solid, but after the tag title match, the crowd was tired. As for the rest, the Young Bucks versus Paige Omega, speaking of, was amazing, well-deserved 6-star match. Orange Cassidy was on top, even with a loss. MGF gets a dirty win against Cody, and Mr. John Moxley beats Chris Jericho to become the AEW World Champion. Final rating 4 out of 5. Elimination Chamber. Pretty much don't care about this pay-per-view outside of the women's Elimination Chamber match where, spoilers, Shayna wins it. What worries me is Vince is doing a switcheroo since he's not a fan of Miss Baszler. Don't do it, Vince. If there's anyone who could break Becker's title reign, it has to be her. Winner, I got my own thoughts on this personally, but we'll get to that in the third. Winners, AEW Revolution. Well done for first pay-per-view of the year, plus the announcement of Blood and Guts with the War Game style match. I'm all for it. Jake the Snake Roberts on AEW Dynamite. Great heel promo and heel tease on new client. Has to be Brody Lee, he says. WWE, this is how you use legends to put over the current roster. Last segment on Raw, Randall, you sick son of a bitch, giving an RKO to Beth Phoenix. It's nothing. Fuckers, Third seg, Matty. Third seg. I hate to say it, but congratulations, John Bradshaw Layfield, for becoming a member of the WWE Hall of Fame. Everyone, I see what you did there. Hey, everyone. It's John O'Clock, mother! MJF flipping off a boy. Ballsy and remains in character best heel of this generation. No arguments from this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Losers! Though I was mad last night, Ricochet. Jobs to Riddick Moss on TV. Why? You thought I was mad last night. Ricochet jobs to Ricochet on Riddick Moss last week. Why? The passing of wrestling legend Rip Oliver. Rest in peace, good sir. How in the hell did Roman Reigns got a number one contender spot against Goldberg at WrestleMania 36 for no reason? Remember when he was the most booed man in WWE? And it really repeat itself. Should these two main event WrestleMania 36 over McIntyre, Lesnar, or hell, Fiend Cena? The big reveal about Eric Rowan's box is it's a goddamn spider toy. I give up on Raw. Short one, but again, got things to do in real life. Take care, enjoy Elimination Chamber, and see you next time, he says. Yeah, giant fucking spiders. It's literally, what do we put in that cage for Ron? How about a legion of spiders? I'm like, fuck's sake. At the very least, it's getting more and more tolerable, so I can actually get through the 3 hours with video game help. But anyway, that's another thing for another day there. That said, those are your emails and comments of the week. You can send them at thewrestlecast@gmail.com. We return with news and a preview of Elimination Chamber right after this. Do not go far.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Tired, achy back got you up against the ropes. Burning, itchy hemorrhoids making you cry for mommy. Performance anxiety making you feel embarrassed and like less of a man. Introducing Elite Cold Spray. The #1 cure for dry eye syndrome. Elite Cold Spray. If you order now at YoungBucksMerch.com, we will throw in a complimentary can. Elite Cold Spray, the preferred dry eye cure. Oh my God! The bird! This product doesn't even work, guys. It pisses me off. Who even planned this whole thing?
This is WMOB Mobile, 12 on your channel dial and 12 in the TV ratings.
Chess has always been a game of actions and reactions. So far, I've always made the first move. But I want to thank you, Walter. You forced my hand. And you are not gonna like my reaction. See ya. Sooner than you think.
Well, that's f***ing ominous.
RVT Entertainment Production, Podomatic.com, BrokenInfinite.com, or BrokenInfinite.com, Podomatic.com. We're on Spotify. Podcast places, YouTube, of course. We are on live on Twitch.tv/RVT Entertainment. Matt and T-Dub here with you as per usual. And before we get to the Elimination Chamber or No Escape pay-per-view preview, we got news to talk about. So, right off the bat, I gotta just say, it's one of those weird weeks where we review a great pay-per-view and a clip from the follow-up of the epilogue, quote-unquote, show steals the spotlight. We're about to talk about Elimination Chamber, and the WWE clip is from NXT that same day. It's one of those weird weeks, is what I'm trying to say, ladies and gentlemen. One of those weird weeks. But, yeah, it's basically Balor versus Walter. We suspect that's what it is at TakeOver Tampa. If that's the case, good Lord, that match has the potential of blowing up the wrestling world before they even get a chance to have Ciampa versus Gargano. I mean, what do you think there, T-Dub? I mean, am I wrong?
I think they might have to save that match for Ireland.
They may have to. Oh, good. Oh. I don't know if there was a hotter crowd than Chicago, but we're about to find out how hot Ireland can get, because they can get hot when they want to. When they are Irish crowds, Scottish crowds, they like their wrestling. they get loud.
Staying on the top of NXT here, Dakota Kai and Tegan Knox had a very WWE steel cage match.
Yeah, that's what everyone's been saying. I'm listening to, because I didn't have a chance to, I only watched Dynamite and I was so goddamn tired that I'm like, at this point, just turn on Twitch.
So I did watch this match. And
I watched it on Thursday, but I'll let you explain this because, yeah, that WWE steel cage, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
The thing is, like, ever since watching Cody versus Wardlow, it's like escape rules are just, they don't make sense for baby faces. They really don't.
Not anymore, yeah.
Like, well, the face try to run away when they're trying to beat up the heel. Like, wouldn't they try to get the pinfall victory? Like, that's what Cody did. And especially the match where escaping the cage did nothing. You could get out the cage, run around the building, do 100 laps, not get in the match. You got to pin or submit the opponent. And yet, say here, like, by the very nature of it being an escape rules, it just made sense the heel won. And the way she won was the fact that even though the whole reason the cage match was made was to prevent interference, of course, there was tons of interference. Both in the opening match and in the main event cage match. There's always interference in cage matches. Even though they always
cage match has been used as a book, as a bookend or a bookmark, not the end of the story for so long that it's become the WWE staple in that case. I'm going to say this right now. Stop it. Wardlow versus Cody is an example of what you could do in a steel cage match by advancing the story, by making it feel like it is a war. I'm like, usually steel cages are at the end. They settle feuds. And in the case of Dakota Kai and Tegan Knox, it's not. It's obviously not. It's not intended to be. Now, as far as Velveteen Dream versus Roderick Strong, I'm more inclined to think, yes, it is the setup for the for the NXT title match at TakeOver Tampa. But I think the finish of the main event made more sense than the finish of the opener. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Because people were saying, well, unless that's the intent was, Velveteen Dream was just like wanted to fool Adam Cole into a false sense of security, and once Cole's in the cage, it's like, gotcha, bitch, and that's it. But I'm like, no, that's exactly what, like, okay, Velveteen Dream was like, okay, revenge on Roderick Strong, and then Adam Cole's there, is like, hey, he's part of UE. Hey, Roderick. Bye-bye. Oh, did I lose? Oh, darn. Dream over. Locks the door. Hi. That's the perfect way to set up that match. personally.
Also, congrats to AJ Styles for winning Wrestler of the Decade from Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
Absolutely. And he name of a wrestler who's had a better decade than AJ Styles. He started at Impact. Yeah, TNA. Fair enough. But IWGP Heavyweight Champion. Several Match of the Year candidates. Some with Shinsuke Nakamura, others with others. Ends the year as one of the top acts in WWE with several WWE championships, top championship runs, especially at the level that he was and the level of popularity he had gained before reaching WWE. The fact that Vince trusted him enough to carry the top belt as many times as he did, and maintaining a level of popularity and sustainability. Absolutely, wrestler of the decade. The longevity is what the word I was thinking of, actually.
Yep. And moving on over to AEW, the first news we have there is at the end of this week's Free to Delete, for part 1 of the finale, we saw the Bucks of Youth show up at the Hardy compound.
To quote the Broken Brilliance, Bucks of Youth, I knew you'd come. Oh boy, the world's worst kept secret, Matt Hardy to AEW confirmed. He's not debuted for AEW, but it's implied. Hey, I'm working with the Bucks. It's only a matter of time until I put pen to paper. If it hasn't been done already, of course.
Yeah, we also had Jake Roberts debut in AEW, cutting that amazing promo you heard at the top of the first segment, and I think many people are speculating Brody Lee because they put the pieces of the sort of promo together, and all points to AEW when they go to New York. They're going to be in Brody Lee's hometown,
Rochester.
So it just all makes sense.
Now, this could be a red herring, and Jake Roberts' ward would be Jeff Cobb because he's still a mercenary and he has signed. So Brody Lee's the obvious one, but if it can't be Brody Lee, the obvious plan B is Jeff Cobb. And if it's Jeff Cobb, that's still a hell of a score.
Or let's see, it could also So they pulled Lance Archer because they're going to debuting Brody Lee and Matt Hardy very soon.
Yeah. And which sucks because it's like the first time they were unable to deliver what they've delivered. They've promised, but and Jay Coggins is like, I heard that Lance Archer tweeted a snake emoji. I saw that snake emoji. Yeah, he did tweet that. It could be Lance Archer. If it is Lance Archer, great call once again. Because yes, Lance Archer can cut a great promo, but Jake on the stick with Lance Archer beating the shit out of literally everybody dies. That makes sense as well. Like, we have 3 solid picks. Brody Lee for the obvious New York connection. Jeff Cobb because at this point, yes, he's a powerhouse, but, he's got promos and he's decent at them, but Jake Roberts cutting your promos and you doing the work, dirty work, with that charisma? Hell yeah, I'm down with that. And Lance Archer, I mean, those are 3 picks. I don't think people will be all that I think people will be very satisfied with those 3 picks right there if either one of those 3 are Jake Roberts' client.
And of course, on this episode of Dynamite, we also saw the formation of Death Triangle,
or as the Lucha Bros so aptly put it, Triángulo de la Muerte. This is the stable that gets Pac the world title, by the way. Calling it now.
And of course, during the pay-per-view, we saw the announcement that coming up in just a couple weeks, AEW Blood and Guts, a.k.a. AEW War Game.
Now, they can't call it War Games because Vince McMahon is a prick, but Blood and Guts is a great second thing. And they say the rules. I think it's an obvious dig at NXT's version of War Games, but if it is traditional NWA War Games rules, it's submission only in the match beyond. Makes sense.
I can't wait. Can we find out who the teams are, who's competing, and what the whole thing's gonna be? Because I feel like something's gonna be on the line.
Something has to be online. There must be like a, I think we're all thinking war games. I'm thinking blood and guts, steel cage, two cages. Okay, fair enough. But what if it's a case of everyone out for themselves, and the winner becomes the number one contender for the AEW World Title?
Nah, that wouldn't work because they have a ranking system.
They do. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Next week, we're about to find out.
Going on over to National Wrestling Alliance, where we have a new World Television Champion, Outlandish Zicky Dice.
Reset the ticker. He's got 7 matches to win. Yeah, that's it.
They had a pretty good match against each other, and he won He won clean.
He did.
It was he won with a roll up. He got the W, and I can't wait to see the promos. He cuts as champion now.
It's gonna be very interesting. Looking forward to it. That's all I'm gonna say there.
And the final news update I have this week is the promoter of SWF in New Jersey, Mr. Robert Fury, has been stealing money from kids, dead kids, and sick kids.
Yeah, so the rumor that you're keeping that short, by the way. I know we got the pay-per-view, but there's a lot more stuff that happened, I'm sure. Anyway.
I don't care about anything that happened on Raw. I don't care about anything that happened on Raw at all, so it's not on my list.
Really? Not even the Randy Orton thing?
No, if it happened on Raw, it's not on the list. If I'm on SmackDown, I didn't put it on the list because that's how little I care. But anyways, getting back onto the topic at hand.
On the actual douchebag here. So, SWF, they've put up charity shows, and they've donated money to charity, and not all the money they've risen, because, of course, comeback promoters will be scumbag-ass promoters. They can't take a cut for themselves. So for your Ranger fans, yes, Samuel Benta is not the only one who's stealing money from the kids, brah. Long story short, I'm not going to explain it again. That being said, I think you just fuck them at this point. Yeah. By the way, I'm surprised they don't have MJF trolling TMZ on there.
I don't know. I'm trying to keep things a little bit short because we do have pay-per-view to preview.
It's 6 matches and it's Elimination Chamber. I'm surprised you want to actually spend more than 5 minutes on that.
On top of that, I also want to let you get...
Dude, I got a whole weekend to sleep. I'll be fine.
Like I said, I literally couldn't think of anything else to talk about.
All right, so let's do this.
I don't watch WWE.
Yeah, because obviously they're shit now, but that's why I'm here. And believe me, I did watch it, and I thought about tweeting it, and I realized I'm too tired for this shit. I'm just going to watch it and not give Vince my fucking undivided attention. Because once again, he's ripping up scripts and burying people, the fucker. But we have to we have to talk about Raw, then we'll make fun of Mark's thinking MJF is fucking evil. When really he's a fucking evil genius. First, the Randy Orton thing. So in the main event slot, actually in the first slot, it was a Paul Heyman promo calling Drew McIntyre a bitch and all that stuff. The usual sell job, so to speak. McIntyre comes out, Claymore kick the Bork laser, goes off. Bork staggers, he's walking to the stage. Another kick. He's down. Pick up the belt. Oh, okay. Yeah, Brock literally, he gets knocked out from the second Claymore kick from the stage, and you can audibly hear say, pick up the belt. You talk too much. He never shuts up. That's the thing. But I will say this, the build, if that's not the main event, they have severely fucked up, because that's main event quality build up right there. McIntyre versus Brock, so far, so good on the build up. And Becky versus Baszler is good as well. And then the main event, Becky Lynch comes out for a health to inform people of a health update, i.e., give Randy Orton a reason to actually get heat. Orton goes a convoluted, I just wanted to give Edge his family back instead of being on the road again. Spiel, he gets slapped, and then boom, RKO out of nowhere, and the entire WWE staff, paid staff, goes fucking nuts, and the first thought comes to mind, you do know Bubba Ray Dudley powerbombed Mae Young through a table off the stage in 2000, right? Like, Byron Saxton, this is the worst thing I ever saw. Randy Orton, RKO, the Fabulous Moolah. Okay, maybe not the worst thing, because Fabulous Moolah is a bitch, but still, or was a bitch, but still. Maybe that's not the right word, but I can't think of a better one. Randy Orton RKO'd Stacy Keibler. He's RKO'd old people, other people. He's an evil son of a bitch who almost ran over the Undertaker.
Nevertheless, Randy Orton
twice.
did evil thing. Randy Orton did evil thing. Got good reaction.
Got good reaction, in fairness, and it's the setup to get Edge back just so he could, kick Randy Orton's ass, which, convoluted as it is, I mean, it's Orton versus Edge, and Edge's first match in almost 10 fucking years. They don't need much to build up the return of Edge, but they're doing something for the casuals. Fair enough, and desired effect achieved at the very least. But T-Dum, now we get to talk about Maxwell Jacob Freeman going viral on the internet. So, C2E2 happens to be having the same weekend as AEW Revolution. They do a meet and greet. They've teamed up with them, so they do the meet and greets and everything else. And then suddenly it's MJF's turn, and of course MJF, in true 80s heel fashion, does not give a fuck and keeps kayfabe. To the point where he's signing people. He's like, okay, disdainingly throwing shade at people. There's a kid. They take a picture, and there's a picture online of him flipping the bird at that poor kid. And that kid's like, oh no. He cried. And then TMZ gets a whiff of that. Calls MJF about it for a comment about the reaction of that. Tina, you know what the statement MJF said to TMZ?
What was it? Fuck them kids?
Ding, 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 ding. World blows up. Everyone's mad at MJF. And ladies and gentlemen, MJF is just sitting back, ironically, in a Dusty Rhodes fashion, fucking geniusin'. Folks, it's not that he's being evil. He's an evil fucking genius. And does not... I've made the comparison in the pre-recap call yesterday before the recap, and with John. I made the compare. I don't know if it's apt, but MJF reminds me of peak Don Rickles. Not like, and of course, you're thinking, oh wait, the old Don Rickles? No, Don Rickles back then, he's awesome, but peak Don Rickles, as in if you watch the Irishman. And the dude who played Don Rickles, he's roasting people in front of the fucking mafia. That's peak Rickles. Not giving a fuck what you think and roasting you regardless. That peak Rickles, that is MJF today. And instead of laughs, he's doing it for maximum fucking heat. So, I don't know if it's apt. I don't know if it's appropriate. But tell me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I am wrong here. He is using the exposure he's been given to get more heat. Most people would be like, I was doing a character. His kid suddenly said, could you flip me with the bird? And no one else heard or whatever. He just went, fuck them kids, and hung up. MJF, for all intents and purposes, it might be a case of, the Christopher Titus bit where if you know their thoughts, their dialogue, their drinking habits, you get used to it and become the translator. And that flip of the bird is, hey, cool, hey, kid, thanks, hey, kid. I don't know if I'm the best role model, but thanks for coming along. Fuck you. I like you. Let's work. Hey, I pinned Cody. It was an honor to take it was an honor to defeat you. I will do you proud. That kind of stuff. MJF does not give a fuck and is probably sitting back at the extra exposure afforded to him by TMZ and went, dude, I am going to be a main event star if I'm not already. Yeah, WWE has to pay TMZ to get exposure on TMZ. MJF, all you have to do is flip a bird at a kid. Anyway, I since I've gone too long on this bit, bottom line it, MJF, he won Heel of the Year last year for a reason, folks. He's he's an early front runner for Heel of the Year 2020. Just saying. All right, that being said, yeah, we got 5 minutes to kill. Let's talk about Elimination Chamber, which is this Sunday from the Wells Fargo Center in Philly. Oh God, they're gonna get murderized. Oh no! If that is a loaded Philly crowd, anything but the main event is fucked. But that being said, let's get to it. It's Raw and SmackDown co-production with some NXT sprinkling along in there. We begin with Andrade taking on Humberto Carrillo. This is a singles match for the U.S. title. Keep the belt on Andrade. I think that's the obvious situation there.
Yep.
This one, I'm not gonna lie. I'm doing Tokyo Riffs live with the boys as usual. But if I'm catching Elimination Chamber afterwards, this is probably one of the 2 matches I'm catching it for. Aleister Black versus AJ Styles.
Should be good.
I'm thinking Styles to win, but it'll be a competitive one. The goal here will be one has to win, but both will go over in the process. I think that will be the intent of the match. Whether they pull it off, will be up to debate because it is WWE. But I think that is the goal here. Street Profits, the new Raw Tag Team Championship, Raw Tag Team Champions. They're defending in a rematch. What happened to no more automatic rematches? Seth Rollins was being a dick. They're talking about Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy for those same Raw Tag titles. I will say this. They were in Brooklyn, and that pop when Street Profits won the tag titles. Wow. You would think they were only there in the main roster for 3 months, and they're over as Rover right now. That's how loud of a pop they got for winning the tag titles on Monday. That was a legit pop. So, take it for what it is, but I think the Street Profits to retain.
Hopefully it'll be a good match as well.
You know what? In fairness, it was a good match on Monday, so it's very possible we'll have a good pay-per-view match as well. Who knows? We have the men's Elimination Chamber match, not for any mid-card title or whatever. It's for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. Miz and Morrison, they're the tag champs. They're defending against New Day, Big E, and Kofi. The Usos, Heavy Machinery, Lucha House Party, represented by Lince Dorado and Gran Metalik, and Ziggler and Bobby Roode, who are now back together for some apparent reason.
I would have to say Miz and Morrison to retain.
Makes sense. And Toxic Turtley Top, I don't know if Madison Miles is still in C4. To be honest, I say support your independent promotion as soon as possible. I have not had the chance to do so lately, and I feel bad because they had Femme Fatale recently, which is a show I've been to the last few years. They've done it. It's the first year I was not able to do so, and I feel bad. I might do it after WrestleMania season is done and dusted, because they do have like one in March, I think. But with everything going on, I don't know if I want to. Well, we'll see. It's a maybe. It's a definite maybe. Keep in touch. Another story for another day. Braun Strowman, he defends the Intercontinental Championship against Shinsuke Nakamura, Cesaro, and Sami Zayn in a 3-on-1 handicap match. The rule is, if Braun Strowman wins, he retains. Whoever in the team between Nakamura, Cesaro, and Zayn, if the team wins, whoever pins the champ wins the belt.
This match is going to have the three people start to gain an advantage, but then they start fighting over who gets to pin Strowman, and then they start fighting over, and then Strowman just picks them off and picks up the
A.K.A. the standard Braun Strowman, A.K.A. the standard big dude versus three small dude matches.
Although
it works. It
Cesaro's not a small guy at all, though.
I know. I'm just saying, the giant versus the three regular sized dudes kind of match is what I'm trying to say here. The standard formula, the cut, print, kill the pig, the kind of situation.
Yep.
It's cut and paste. It's a template. It's a trope, folks.
That it is.
Strowman to retain, though. I would agree with that. And in the main event, hopefully, more than likely, the Women's Elimination Chamber match. The winner will face Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania 36. The participants, if I can talk, Natalya, Liv Morgan, Asuka, Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, and NXT's Shayna Baszler.
I think it's pretty obvious that Baszler is going to win this match.
And you're wasting the split of the Riot Squad over this one, which is sad, but fair enough. Hey, you know what? Shayna Baszler. They're setting up Baszler versus Becky Lynch. And it's Baszler in a cage, which, in package videos and pre-match package videos is going to look awesome. So they have to kill time and produce wicked pre-match hype-up videos and hype the match up. So you know what? The thumb is up on that. Not gonna complain. And there's some potential nice matchups. Natalya versus Shayna Baszler is a match I'd like to see myself, personally. If it's the only way we get it, the thumb is up there. And, Asuka versus Shayna Baszler, come on. You want to see that, if for nothing else, just for the visual. And you want to hear Asuka cut a promo in Japanese, because that's like the best thing on Raw. It's like Asuka and Kairi Sane plus microphone equals kawaii. Cute in Japanese, by the way. Anyway. That's the pay-per-view, and yes, that's just 6 matches. So, it's going to fly by. So, winners, T-Dub. Winners and or losers. Let's start with the losers. Go ahead.
My only loser this week is WWE's treatment of Ricochet for the past week.
WWE for Saudi shit show and the treatment of Ricochet. Yeah, absolutely. Agreed there. And NXT, so talks are turtly top. WWE should do a Japan show. The talk is that they're in talks with All Japan Pro Wrestling for a purchase to turn All Japan into NXT Japan. And there's been some heavy talks for months, apparently. But at this point, I believe it when I see it. But WWE doing a Japan show, be about as over as any gaijin trying to be a top thing first day in Japan.
Suppose we'll find out.
People have pulled it off. AJ Styles for one, but good luck with that, is all I'm going to say. Not an easy feat. Let's do winners, T-Dub.
Zicky Dice.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Future's
That's
bright
it.
for this man. Yep.
All right, fair enough. Before I read my Toxic Turley top 10 bits, what's your thoughts on the Chikara? Been a while since we watched some, but I know one of your favorite events of the year is King of Trios.
Oh yeah, I love King of Trios. Always a fun show to watch.
And they had a Chikara. They had a show in Ottawa a few years back, and I had a great time there. So
yeah, going to Chikara show is definitely different from anything else. So if Chikara comes to your town, go to it, I would say.
Absolutely. Keep it PG. That's one of their rules. But otherwise,
they will throw you out. They will legit throw you out.
They are family friendly they are G-rated wrestling. If there is such a thing, of course. So to my winners, All Elite Wrestling for Revolution and their Dynamite show for obvious reasons. MJF for what I just explained a few minutes ago in that situation. And come on, heel of the year, for God's sakes. Jon Moxley, new world champion. Jake the Snake Roberts, still showing this guy never lost it. And the Street Profits becoming the world tag champs on Raw. In Brooklyn in a fairly decent crowd, all things considered, and a good pop for them. So good for them on that. All right, so I forget. I think you have a new video, correct?
No,
you're working on one.
But I will be taking a break from my video game commentary channel to focus on making new videos at the moment for the next few weeks, because I got one written, and I'm going to be recording that one over the next few days, and then I'll immediately go to working on the next one.
Awesome. You want to see that T-Dub's newest video just before you hits public for the YouTube? You can by donating to TWK's Patreon, patreon.com/TWK Reviews. Of course, if you want to donate any money at all, I have my tip jar, paypal.me/Matty Jay 316. Donations are optional, but always appreciated. You can follow us on Twitter at Matty Jay 316 and at TWK Official. And I am also on Instagram at Matty Jay 316. I'm trying to lose weight. You can keep a track on that, and I may post a cosplay or two. I am working on one or two specifically. And I will give you an update on Sunday for Tokuverse Live from one of them at the very least. Merch, streamlabs.com/RVT Entertainment/merch. You can get you can buy t-shirts, mugs, all that stuff. Buy the merch. And of course, if you want to send in any comments, anything, questions at all, send them the WrestleCast@gmail.com. Link is on screen for you as well as in the description. And of course, we are on Spotify. You can follow us on Spotify and listen to us on the Goo as well, and all that good stuff. But that's going to do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. We thank you very much for tuning in, and as always, what a week. On behalf of my good buddy TWK.
Until next time, this is TWK of TWK Reviews. Don't need to work in your gimmick.
My name is Matty Jay, reminding you to help professional wrestling support your independent promotion as soon as possible. If you intend on watching Elimination Chamber, enjoy it. It's still got a solid looking main event, and Aleister Black versus AJ Styles, if you get enough time, will be a thumbs up for sure. I mean, they got 4 hours to kill, for fuck's sake. They better get half an hour. Have a good one. Have a safe one, regardless. We'll talk to you next week. Have a good one. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
The Toronto Maple Leafs lost an actual National Hockey League game to a 42-year-old Zamboni